Hey, English learners! Welcome back to the English Connect podcast, your cozy little place to learn easy English through real, everyday conversations. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Jason.
Jason, you look thoughtful today.
I am. I had a small moment yesterday, and it stayed with me.
What happened?
A friend asked me to meet for dinner, and I wanted to say no because I was tired.
But you said yes?
Of course I said yes. I gave the classic tired person answer. Sure, no problem.
The sentence people say when there is absolutely a problem.
Exactly. That sentence was polite, but my body was not happy.
That is very honest.
I went to dinner, smiled, talked, laughed a little, but inside I kept thinking, I should be home. I should be resting.
That is such a real situation.
And it made me think. Sometimes we don't dislike other people, we just keep ignoring ourselves.
That is a powerful line.
We say yes to everyone, but no to our own peace.
And that is where today's topic begins.
Today we're talking about learning to love yourself more.
But not in a selfish way.
Right, not I'm better than everyone.
More like, I matter too.
Yes, loving yourself more means you stop leaving yourself last every single time.
That is a beautiful angle.
Because self-love is not always candles, spa days, or perfect confidence.
Sometimes self-love is going home when you are tired.
Sometimes it is not replying immediately.
Sometimes it is saying, that actually hurt me.
And sometimes it is being proud of yourself before someone else claps for you.
If you're learning English with us today, just relax into the conversation.
This episode is great for B1 and B2 learners, and if you are A2, you can still follow the main idea.
You don't need to understand every word. Listen for the feeling. Repeat the useful lines and stay with us.
Later, we'll also do a calm word tour with 6 useful words from the conversation.
And near the end, we'll do Say It Better.
We'll take simple self-love sentences and make them sound more natural.
Like, instead of saying, I always forget myself.
You can say, I often neglect my own needs.
And instead of saying, I want people to say I am good.
You can say, I often look for approval from others.
So stay with us. Today we'll talk about self-love in a calm, honest, real-life way. Jason, I want to go back to that dinner story.
My tired dinner mistake?
Yes, but I don't think it was only a mistake. I think many people do that.
Say yes when they want to say no?
Yes, and then they call it kindness.
Oof, that one hurts.
Because sometimes it is kindness, but sometimes it is fear.
Fear of disappointing someone?
Fear of looking rude?
Fear that people will think you don't care.
Exactly. That is the quiet pressure many people carry.
I like that better.
We want to be good friends, good family members, good colleagues, but sometimes we forget to be good to ourselves.
That's the part people don't notice.
And then one day, you feel tired, irritated, and a little sad, but you don't know why.
Because you have been giving little pieces of yourself away.
Yes.
I think the hard part is that it doesn't happen dramatically.
No, it happens in tiny moments.
You reply when you need rest.
You smile when something hurts.
You say it's okay when it is not okay.
You agree to a plan when your heart says, please don't.
And slowly you start feeling far away from yourself.
That is such a good way to say it.
Far away from yourself.
I think self-love is learning to come back.
Not in a loud way.
No, in a quiet way.
Like asking, what do I actually need right now?
Yes, that question is small, but it can change your day.
What do I actually need right now?
Maybe you need rest.
Maybe you need honesty.
Maybe you need silence.
Maybe you need to stop checking your phone.
Or maybe you need to admit, I'm hurt.
That one is hard.
It is, because sometimes we pretend we are fine to keep the peace.
And then the peace is only outside. Inside, you are not peaceful.
That is very true.
I had that with a message once.
What happened?
I sent a long message to someone. Not emotional, but thoughtful. I took time to write it.
Okay.
They replied with one word. Cool.
Oh, no.
The famous friendship killer.
Jason.
I know. They probably didn't mean anything bad, but I felt small for a moment.
That makes sense.
And instead of saying, that reply felt a little cold, I said, no worries.
Ah,
But there were worries.
many worries?
A whole conference of worries.
That is very real.
Later, I realized I was waiting for their approval.
Approval means wanting someone to accept, praise, or agree with you.
Yes, I wanted their response to make me feel good about what I had said.
And when it didn't, your mood dropped.
Immediately.
That happens so easily.
It does, and I don't think wanting approval is always bad.
No, we all like support. We all like kind words.
But if you need approval before you can feel okay, that becomes heavy.
Because your peace depends on other people's reactions.
And other people are not always careful with that power.
Sometimes they are tired.
Sometimes they're busy.
Sometimes they reply badly.
Sometimes they don't understand how much something mattered to you.
So self-love means you don't hand them the whole remote control for your mood.
Careful, that sounds like the old episode.
You're right. Let me say it differently.
Please do.
Self-love means you can listen to other people's opinions, but you don't let those opinions become your whole identity.
That is fresh and true.
Your value cannot depend on one message, one compliment, one like, or one person's mood.
That takes practice.
It does, and this connects to self-respect.
Self-respect means treating yourself like you matter.
Yes, not more than everyone in a cruel way, but not less than everyone either.
I think that's the balance.
Self-respect is asking, would I let someone treat my friend like this?
Oof.
Because sometimes we protect our friends better than we protect ourselves.
That is painfully true.
If your friend said, "I'm exhausted, but I said yes again," you would probably say, "Please rest."
But when it's you, you say, just push through.
Yes, that's the problem.
We become very strict managers of our own energy.
Strict managers with no holiday policy.
Very poor management.
I had a moment like that last week.
Tell me.
I was helping a friend with something small, at least I thought it was small.
Dangerous beginning.
Yes, it started as one favor, then another question, then another message, then suddenly I was solving a whole problem that was not really mine.
And you felt tired.
Not at first. At first, I felt useful.
That's tricky.
Very tricky. Helping can feel good, but later I noticed I was becoming a little resentful.
Resentment means quietly angry because you feel something is unfair, right?
Yes, resentment is that anger that builds slowly when you keep accepting things you don't really want.
That is an important word.
It is, because resentment often starts where honest communication is missing.
So instead of saying, I can help with this part, but not everything, you kept saying yes.
Yes, and then I felt annoyed at my friend.
But part of it was because you didn't say your limit.
That's the honest part. My friend asked, I agreed, then I quietly blamed them for taking too much.
That is very human.
It is, and I think self-love sometimes means being honest before resentment grows.
Like saying, I can help for 20 minutes, but then I need to stop.
Yes, or I care about you, but I can't take this on today.
That sounds kind, but clear.
Exactly, kind and clear.
I like this because self-love isn't just a feeling, it is a choice inside normal situations.
Yes, it shows up in messages, plans, favors, work, family, friendships.
And even in how you talk to yourself after a mistake.
That part matters so much.
I used to think loving yourself meant thinking, I am amazing all the time.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. Some days I don't feel amazing. Some days I feel like a confused sandwich.
A confused sandwich?
I don't know. It felt right.
Somehow I understand.
But now I think self-love is more like compassion.
Compassion means kindness and understanding when someone is struggling.
Yes, and self-compassion means giving that kindness to yourself too.
That is beautiful.
So if I make a mistake, I don't have to say I'm terrible.
You can say, that didn't go well, but I can learn from it.
If I feel tired, I don't have to say I'm lazy.
You can say, maybe I need rest.
If I feel behind, I don't have to say everyone is better than me.
You can say, I'm moving at my own pace.
That feels much kinder.
And more useful.
Because harsh words don't always make you stronger.
Sometimes they just make you smaller.
That is true.
Self-love is not pretending everything is perfect. It is staying with yourself when things are not perfect.
That line is strong.
Thank you.
I think another part is making yourself a priority.
Priority means something important that you choose to give time and attention to.
Yes, and many people say family is a priority, work is a priority, friends are a priority.
But they never put themselves on the list.
Exactly, they forget that they belong on the list too.
Much better.
You can care about other people and still care about yourself.
Yes, it is not one or the other.
Like food.
Food?
If you're serving dinner to everyone, you still need a plate too.
That is simple but very clear.
Thank you, I speak in snacks.
You do.
But it makes sense. You can feed everyone else and still be hungry.
That is a powerful image.
And many people live like that emotionally.
They keep giving comfort, attention, patience, and support.
But they don't give any of that to themselves.
That is emotional hunger.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe loving yourself more means asking, where am I hungry in my life?
Ooh, that is good.
Hungry for rest?
Hungry for respect.
Hungry for quiet?
Hungry for honest conversation.
Hungry for time that belongs to you?
That is a fresh way to think about it.
And the answer may be very small.
Like going to bed earlier.
Or not checking your phone for 1 hour.
Or telling someone, I can't talk tonight, but I hope you're okay.
Or saying, I need to think before I answer.
That one is useful.
Very useful, because you don't always have to answer immediately.
That is hard for me.
Same.
I feel pressure to respond quickly.
Why?
I think I worry people will think I don't care.
That is approval again.
It is approval wearing a different outfit.
Nice.
But maybe self-respect says I can care and still take time.
Yes, that is a sentence worth keeping.
I can care and still take time.
Beautiful.
I want to ask something. Is loving yourself more than anyone else too strong?
Good question.
Because it can sound selfish.
It can, but I think the meaning depends on how we explain it.
How would you explain it?
Loving yourself more than anyone else doesn't mean you don't love other people.
Mm-hmm.
It means you don't abandon yourself to keep other people comfortable.
That is the heart of the episode.
Yes. It means you stop asking, how can I make everyone happy, and start asking, can I be kind to them without being cruel to myself?
That is a beautiful balance.
You can be loving.
You can be generous,
You can be patient.
but you should not disappear.
You should still be present in your own life.
That is much better.
Thank you.
I think people will feel that.
I hope so, because many learners listening may be kind people. They may care deeply about family, friends, work, responsibilities.
Yes, and maybe they don't need to become harder.
They just need to include themselves
That's it. Include yourself
in your plans,
in your kindness,
in your patience,
in your forgiveness,
in your future.
and even in your daily schedule.
Put yourself somewhere on the calendar.
Yes, even a small space.
And now let's slow down and practice the 6 useful words from today. Our first word is self-respect. Self-respect. Self-respect.
Self-respect means treating yourself like you matter.
It means you do not accept things that hurt your peace or make you feel small.
Maybe someone keeps speaking to you in a rude way.
You could say, I need enough self-respect to step back from this.
Or maybe you are learning to value your own time.
Then you could say, self-respect means I don't ignore my own needs.
Our next word is approval.
Approval. Approval.
Approval means acceptance, praise, or agreement from other people.
We often want approval from friends, family, teachers, managers, or people online.
Maybe you feel happy only when someone praises you.
You could say, I often look for approval from others.
Or maybe you are learning to trust yourself more.
Then you could say, I don't want to depend on other people's approval.
Our next word is neglect.
Neglect. Neglect.
Neglect means to ignore something or not take care of it properly.
You can neglect your health, your sleep, your feelings, or your own needs.
Maybe you always help others but never rest.
You could say, I sometimes neglect my own needs.
Or maybe you have been ignoring your mental health.
Then you could say, I don't want to neglect my well-being anymore.
Our next word is resentment.
Resentment. Resentment.
Resentment is anger that builds slowly when you feel something is unfair.
It often happens when you keep saying yes, but inside you really want to say no.
Maybe you always help someone, but they never respect your time.
You could say, I started to feel resentment.
Or maybe you want to be honest before anger grows.
Then you could say, I need to speak honestly before resentment builds.
Our next word is priority.
Pri, or, t. Priority.
A priority is something important that you choose to give time and attention to.
Work can be a priority.
Family can be a priority.
Health can be a priority.
And your peace can be a priority too.
Maybe you are trying to take better care of your health.
You could say, my health needs to be a priority.
Or maybe you want to stop putting yourself last.
Then you could say, I'm learning to make myself a priority.
Our final word is compassion.
Compassion. Compassion.
Compassion means kindness and understanding when someone is struggling.
Self-compassion means giving that kindness to yourself too.
Maybe you made a mistake and you feel bad.
You could say, I need to show myself some compassion.
Or maybe your friend is having a hard time. Then you could say, I tried to respond with compassion.
Beautiful. Today we learned 6 powerful words: self-respect, approval, neglect, resentment, priority, and compassion.
Try to use one of these words when you talk about self-love.
And if you want to practice these words more, visit the English Connect Club through the link in the description.
You can review the transcript, practice with quizzes and games, and keep building your English step by step.
Good. Now let's take a few simple self-love sentences.
And say them better. Let's start with a common sentence. I always forget myself.
The feeling is clear, but we can make it more natural.
You could say, I often neglect my own needs, or I keep putting myself last.
That sounds honest and natural. Here's one. I want people to say I am good.
We understand it, but it sounds a little direct.
You can say, I often look for approval from others.
Or, I'm learning not to depend on other people's approval.
That sounds more mature.
What about this one? I feel angry because I always say yes.
Very real sentence.
A smoother way is, I feel resentful because I keep saying yes when I want to say no.
Or, I think resentment is building because I haven't been honest about my limits.
Strong sentence.
Here's another one. I am also important.
Simple and true.
But if you want to say it more naturally, you can say, my needs matter too.
Or, I'm learning to make myself a priority.
Beautiful.
Let's do one for being kinder to yourself. Some learners say, I should not hate myself when I make mistakes.
We understand the meaning, but it sounds heavy.
A softer way is, I'm learning to show myself compassion when I make mistakes.
Or, I can be kind to myself and still learn from my mistakes.
That is such a useful sentence.
One more. A learner might say, I love people, but I don't want to lose myself.
That is already a strong idea.
A smoother version is, I can care about others without abandoning myself.
Or, I can be kind to people without being cruel to myself.
That is the heart of today's episode.
I like this segment because self-love can sound like a big topic, but these sentences make it practical.
Yes, they help you talk about real life, messages, plans, guilt, rest, and your own needs.
So now we want to hear from you.
What is one small way you can love yourself more this week?
Try to use one word from today's word tour: self-respect, approval, neglect, resentment, priority, or compassion. Thank you for learning with us today.
Keep practicing, take care, and don't leave yourself last.
Bye for now.